Danielle. Can you guys hear me? Is this loud enough? Cool, excellent. So I'm Priya, I'm from Design for Social Change, and I want to share my story because I just had recently another accident from running a marathon, and I seem to be pretty accidental. And this is pretty much the...
And that's pretty accidental.
That's really what happened there. Okay. So I'm an accidental urbanist as well. I have cycling in London for 15 years, and I had one of those classic moments of an accident with a pothole, which I'd actually reported a while back on Fix My Street, on Suffolk Council. I've done the whole shebang. But unfortunately, even though I proactively reported it, nothing really happened, because what I noticed, I'm a designer. I normally used to design mobile phones. I was working at Nokia before, design iPlayers. I'm a systems guy. I noticed that when you as a citizen or a cyclist actually report something, it falls between different silos. And this is not just because there's an app for everything. Even if you want to use an app as a citizen to report stuff, that's another silo. All the government guys, Stock London has its own forum. They are another silo. All the service providers like Citizen Lab and all these guys, enterprise software guys, another silo. And I'm sick of this. I'm really sick of this. And really pisses me off. And the problem is, if you go into stuff like Twitter and you see Fix My Street, and bless their heart, they've really done some great work in my society, but unfortunately it's not integrated in the back end of the city's operations. Hence, when you report something on Fix My Street, normally that council might not necessarily have paid for Fix My Street to have that report come through their system. And this causes a lot of anger on Twitter, as we see. And obviously councils also and the service contracts with service providers who are in charge of maintaining those roads. There's a plot, there's a story I'm coming up to. I'm not pothole obsessed, even though potholes are supposed to be the crack of civic tech, and that's how I fell into one. But apparently the government is spending a lot of money on trying to repair the roads. There's another new fund for 100 million apparently for making roads much more safer and better. But my problem as a user of the road, a cyclist or a pedestrian, is if there's a road work and if there's something getting reported and you do something, nobody's talking to each other. Have you seen that? There's a road work. Even if you see something's going on, if it's Balfour BT or it's WSP or whoever's managing the roadworks, you as a citizen don't really know what's going on. You can go and see on TFL or you can go on Twitter, but you don't really see the whole kind of conversation and giving the feedback to these guys. So what we wanted to do, and I kind of used my systems background and said, okay, I want to try and see if I can fix this. So let's figure out how can I use the real-time social intelligence of folks like us in the room walking down the street, that, as you watch and see what's happening, along with the statistical and top-down centralized data coming from the city's operations itself. So I created a platform called Changeify, and it's really a citizen engagement platform, but I don't want to talk about that right now. I just want to walk through some of the things we did with that, because what we realized is you can definitely aggregate data coming out of people's every orifice. You can aggregate all the data that you want, but ultimately you've got to prioritize that. Because there's no point telling me more and more data is available unless I can prioritize and see which is the most important problem for the city to resolve. It's no use for me. And then you want to give the feedback loop between the citizen, the cyclist, the person who's managing the roadworks, and also the municipality or the council itself. So we tried and tested this out in Plymouth. It was an Innovate UK funded project, and we worked with Amy, who managed the roads. And we did this whole thing on how do you actually engage real people. I'm not a lycra-clad cyclist. I'm quite a boring, normal cyclist person, and we wanted to work with real people who use the roads. So these are families, and we got them to work in a group of 150, which is the Dunbar number, to create a small network. So it's not about going on Facebook and Twitter. It's trying to take small groups of people and get them to collaborate together and start taking photos of things they see. They can use the camera as a voting button. They can vote red for urgent, green if it's a good job. And we did this and also managed to get data from CCTV. That's something we've been working with a company called Aralia. Actually, Eleanor's here. If you want to speak to Eleanor, she's around here. And people would come and make this report and then go to the physical cycle shops, which we had worked together with local businesses to be able to see what is the most important problem to solve in that particular neighborhood. So people actually go physically to the pubs and cycle shops where we had these partnerships with. And when that happened, the councillor would also receive a notification saying, okay, so-and-so people in this neighborhood have kind of figured out this issue. Do you want to back that? And then people would turn that into a data project and kind of scan the whole road to come up with this kind of a way of troubleshooting all the issues on the piece of infrastructure. And in the back-end operations, because we had an API, Amy would get this real-time traffic light kind of top of the pops reports from all the people to say what are the things that needs to be resolved, and they would send the gangs to go and look at it. So it kind of worked and it didn't work as well, because what happened, we realized, is these are the kind of reports that came out of the pilot. People trying to treat how long a traffic light would be there, because if you're an elderly person trying to cross the street, you might need to take some more time. Previously, people could not interface with the city's infrastructure in this way. Things that were working well, so instead of always complaining, if something's really good, how can I have more of that? So people would also upvote things that were working in the civic infrastructure, and also new projects. If somebody sees a piece of a plot and they wanted to turn it into a community garden, they could also vote that up. So what we learned from that was you can create these kind of local small groups of people, you can create loyalty schemes with data, and you can work together with local shops. You can have all the standard business KPIs of response time increasing, individual inspection costs going down because we reduce the number of inspectors required, new community proposals. And all this looks very lovely-jubbly, but it's not true. The problem is, once you're creating real-time systems, the people who are actually managing the infrastructure are not set up for that. It's a cultural change. This looks like a technology and a social project, but the real problem is the enterprises that are managing the city's contracts. If somebody is all the time giving you feedback of improving something, you as a company on the operational side are not set up for that level of interaction. So in retrospect, if we have to do this project, the people who are managing the cities will have to become a lot more responsive and actually listen to people in real time if they start getting this kind of data. So a lot of outcomes, the product, the API, I won't go into this too much, but what I want to leave you with is classic smart cities have a centralized system. We talk about a lot of the decentralized systems, but I think given that we are in a transition phase of having traditional top-down systems, we're going to be seeing this holistic smart city model where you have bottom-up and top-down coming together. The reason is we need to work with people because everything is not going to be IoT and sensor-based. We already know about the fires in California. Those kind of issues, even the issues that we're having with climate change. I think Maria here is working on climate change. Just go and speak to her. So yeah, if you want to come and find out about how you'd like to use Changeify in your own street, find me. Thank you.